Hello, I'm Jacqueline Early and I'm here today to introduce the second part of my Midlife Transformation for Women series podcast. And today's episode is Mindset Renegotiation. So we are flipping the script and we are going to see what shakes out with this episode. Welcome back. So today, what we are going into is the story of what you've been telling yourself about midlife. So let's break that down. The myth we are handed and what we have been led to believe somewhere along the way. Not that we agreed to it, of course not. We're told that when we reach midlife, we have to slow down, we have to fade out, and essentially just be quiet and sort of get on with it, go away, and become small. And you see it absolutely everywhere. It's like, where did all those midlife people go? They do exist and they were very capable, and hence the baby boomers led the market forever. And wherever you look, it's just in front of you. And then the jokes. Oh, life begins at 50, or, oh, you know what? It's all downhill now. It's just like it's punishment for being older. You're over the hill. You're past it. Who wants you? Magazines, they talk about aging. But when they talk about aging, it's how we should age gracefully. As though what they're really saying is, well, you're old now, you had your day, and just deal. Fade into the background and be quiet. But I want to push back on that. And today we are going to say it out loud, because we're not just taking old age as a given and be quiet. Oh no, midlife is not a decline. It's actually the first time in your life where you have the opportunity to choose how your life works and how it goes, and negotiate everything on your terms instead of on purpose or by the default that was set by the family, the peers that have been in your life. So sit back and think about this for a bit and really take this on board. In your 20s, life was all about career. You have to pack it in, you have to focus, you have to get that education. You have to really think about your career, your relationships, work on a solid relationship, look at your family, be there for everybody, and then all this pressure, what you should and shouldn't do. So then the 30s come along, which for most women is such a difficult pressure cooker. You're surviving the busiest years of your life, negotiating on whether to have a family or not. Is this relationship I'm in the right relationship? Because I want children. Oh, I have to make that decision. The clock's ticking. My friends are starting to do this. I should jump on board. So all of these things come into the fray, and then we move into our 40s. And now, you've got a few cracks appearing in life just when you thought, oh, okay, I'm on track. Parents are starting to, get a little health issue here and there. Father's lost his job, your mother's concerned. So, there's cracks. And then also, as you're ploughing through those 40s, there's a few chinks in the armour with you. Something might not be quite right in your health either. Things happen in your friendships. So your 50s are quite telling on so many levels. But then, aha, we have this moment where awareness kicks in, and this self-knowledge that you've actually learned along the way. And then things you revisit are not quite the same. And then it's like, hold on, I've been here before, been there, done that. So there is some degree of ease here, that the problems can, minimize to a degree. They're not as harsh as they once were. Carve out some enjoyment as well. And you finally actually have enough distance now from everybody else's expectations, so you can have a little rubber stamp on some of your own. And then you ask yourself, what do I want now? Today. Yep, you're going to be in the moment today. And that question is available to you today like it wasn't before. And not because you're older and you're tired, but it's actually because you're so much clearer about what you want. As I said, been there, done that. But let me repeat that distinction again. It's the whole episode, really, on so many levels, tired and clear. Yes, they do go together. This is our flip the script. So when you think tired, don't think of tired as in weary, think of tired as in, no, I don't want to hear that again. Yes, I'm getting so much clearer. And if you felt that pull lately, a sense that something doesn't fit anymore, a relationship, a routine, a version of yourself that you've just been performing over and over again, I want you to consider that this isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. Oh no, it's a sign that you finally got clarity, and you've got enough clarity to notice what's actually happening underneath everything. The fork in the road. This isn't a feel-good idea I'm offering to make this season in your life seem easier to swallow. The fact is, there's actually real evidence that has been, gathered over many years by many scientists that really do depict this, situation and show that midlife development is known as a major transition point in most people's lives. A natural renegotiation period happening in your life. Not a breakdown of a negotiation, no. So let's think about this very useful term that I'm using here, renegotiation. And a renegotiation means the original ways aren't working anymore. So you have to come back to the table and set new terms and new ways, because you are still going forward. And no, you're not falling apart when this happens. Like so many people take that upon themselves to adopt the belief that my life is falling apart. No. It's about taking your life by the reins and rewriting it. Rewriting the script on how you want to see it on your terms. Because you can do that. Just like any other agreement in life that no longer fits the actual situation it was intended for. Most people skip right past this part, and renegotiation actually requires you to notice the old terms first before you can change them. So don't skip that. Revisit, think about them, and rewrite them. Like you would do with anything that doesn't fit now. And most of us are still operating on old agreements we made many years ago. How much do we deserve? What's too much to ask for? What were we supposed to want? And we never go back and check in by asking, is that applying to who I am now? Because I can probably tell you it's not. So let's make this concrete. What's an old term that might be quietly ruining your life or running your life now? Maybe it's something like, I always put myself last. And back in the day, you probably did. Back in the day, you had family, you had budget restraints, you had sickness, you had to hold on tight to everything, you had to meet everybody's needs before yours. Well, that was then. But is that still the real situation now? Or is it that you never went back and renegotiated new terms, even after all the original situation had changed and things were very different? And as it comes to light, you've been avoiding that question because it's really uncomfortable to admit that you've been operating on outdated terms for years. You've just gone on. Same old, same old. So that's why it's hard to deal with, and now it's finally getting noticed. You didn't fail. Realization is the first step for renegotiation. And I want you to hold on to the term renegotiation. It ripples throughout our series of podcasts, Flipping the Script, in all that we do, in all the habits that we have adopted, all the relationships that we're in, friendships, romantic, work, any relationship. We hold on to these threads, and it actually is the thread that reconnects and holds everything together. So one practical shift that I'm going to ask you to do today is, or whenever you see this podcast, pay attention to one sentence that you always find yourself going into on autopilot. For instance, I'm just too tired. Can't do it. I'm just too old. I'm just past it. Oh, and that's just not me. No, I can't identify with that. Because these are things that we all do and we all say, including myself. I know I have caught myself doing these things like everybody else. And then it's just, hold on, that's not quite true. Because I'm not too old. And yeah, I'm a bit tired, but that's today. I might be different tomorrow. And that's just not me. Why is that just not you? It can be you. You can try something new. We all do. So look in the mirror and ask yourself these questions and answer yourself back like I just did there. And just because you keep saying it doesn't mean you haven't changed, because you have changed way more than you ever realize. For instance, you meet somebody at a school reunion. if you ask them that question, they would say, you are so different to when I saw you at that reunion 10 years ago. So if that is the case, ask them what they mean, how they see you. And think back to situations where these were tested and again, found out to be not true at all. So that's it. A tiny shift from a verdict which you were given to a question which is not the case. And a tiny shift has now began because you've moved through that and realized. And this is what opens the door. So stop limiting yourself. For example, catch yourself thinking, I'm not a person who tries new things anymore. Well, you are. Instead of accepting that as fact, ask, when was the last time I actually did try something new? And sometimes the answer is, oh dear, years ago. You pause because that means you're not describing yourself now. You're describing a frozen in time version of who you are. I work with women in exactly this season of their life. And not because something is wrong with them, but because this is one of the richest seasons in most women's lives. And as long as you know how to use this season, you will move through it with grace, life, dignity, and everything else that you can think of. The women I talk to aren't broken. They're just running on old, out-of-date, worn-out software. The thing about old software, though, is that you can actually update it. You can replace it. You don't have to completely throw out the running machine. You just update and become aware of what that machine is now doing and how it's operating. Just replace a few lines of the code with one sentence at a time. That's work. That's not a total reinvention overnight. One caught sentence, one honest question, repeated until it sticks. So let's bring this all together, because we've talked about the myth of midlife meaning decline. And so we flipped the script here today to say that that just isn't the case, as the opposite is true. We discussed how it is your turn to renegotiate the past into the future and realize that you were operating on the old script and the old terms, but now you have so much clarity. You're at that new crossroads and you can choose your path and your new direction. And you can catch yourself in the moment when you dare to say any of those, I'm too old, I'm past it. Oh, leave that for the young ones. It's not my turn. No, it is your turn. But you take it one day at a time. And before you know it, those things disappear from your vocabulary and the tip of your tongue because you've paused significantly enough to realize. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning into my podcast and mindset reshaping, midlife and reinvention going forward. Flip the script is such a good way to really think about how you live your life going forward. Please look at our social media platforms. You can see all the details on the bottom of the page, where to contact me with any questions. If you enjoyed this podcast, if it relates to a friend, share it, discuss it, have a meeting with a bunch of your friends and discuss this topic and see where you're all at. Thank you again. I look forward to keeping you updated with more podcasts.